LV55 Media LLC presents the Heroes of Montford Point interview series featuring Montford Point Marine Joseph Geeter, Part 1, hosted by Patricia Williams.
So, Mr. Geeter, thank you so very much for being with us today for this interview. I'd like to say thank you for serving our country.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
Now, tell me a little bit. Tell me about your part with the Montford Point Marines.
Well, I've been interested in the Montford Point Marines, which we know are the first African Americans that were allowed to serve in the Marine Corps, following an executive order by Franklin Delano Roosevelt on 25 June 1941. So they went to a place called Montford Point in North Carolina. 19,166 men went to Montford Point from 1942 to 1949. I got interested in Montford Point because my uncle served with the Montford Pointers during World War II. So when I was an active duty Marine, I started to look into the history and learn more about it. And in 1987, I joined the Montford Point Marine Association. And through the ranks, I rose, and I ended up being national president from 2005 to 2009.
Wow, yeah. Very nice. So you were instrumental in them getting their recognition.
Well, I got it started. I had a lot of help along the way, but it actually got started when a Montford Pointer called me up when I was national president, and he had just heard that the Tuskegee Airmen received the Congressional Gold Medal from the U.S. Congress. And like Rudy always does, he said, "What about us? What are you going to do about the Montford Point Marines, Mr. President?" And I promised him that I was going to get him the Congressional Gold Medal. I had no idea how I was going to do it, but I just knew I made a promise to Rudy, and I had to keep my promise. So I started to do some research on how the Tuskegee Airmen got theirs, and I didn't want to reinvent the wheel, so I just followed the same model that they've already built. And so I started to lobby Congress for the gold medal, not knowing that I was lobbying. And then I met a guy called Senator Anthony Hill, state senator out of Florida, and he guided me to the Congressional Black Caucus. And once I spoke in front of those members and told the story about the Montford Pointers, and I had some original Montford Pointers with me, they got very interested in the story. And U.S. Representative Kareem Brown from Florida, also out of Jacksonville, approached me, and she said, "I want to help you get it done." And she says she's going to help me get the Congressional Gold Medal. And her aide, Lee Footer, I met with him, and he asked me where the bill was to get the gold medal, and I didn't know I had to write the bill too, so I spent the whole weekend writing the bill, doing the research, making sure everything was meticulously accurate, and I gave it to him, and he called me back 7 months later and said, "We're going to get started on this." So I went back down to D.C., they assigned a bill number to it, it went to committee, and we started to get signatures. And after about 30 or 40 trips down to D.C., we received a lot of signatures. But unfortunately, we had mid-year elections in 2010. I lost a lot of my sponsors. So I had to start all over again. And even though I was a little bit discouraged, Kareem Brown, I'm going to say U.S. Representative Kareem Brown was instrumental because she kept me motivated. She thought it was a good story. She says, "Joe, you got to keep doing this." We kept doing it. We got the Commandant of the Marine Corps involved. We got Senator Ray Burris from Illinois involved. We have just a lot of other congressional folks involved, and it started snowballing in 2011. And it reached an apex, I believe, in August of 2011 when the Commandant of the Marine Corps spoke about this at the National Convention in Atlanta, which is home to CNN. They picked up the story. The national president, Dr. James Everhart, went on TV to tell the story. AP Wire picked it up, and almost the rest is history. The whole America knew about it, and now everybody wants to help me get it done. And in October of 2011, the bill finally made it to the floor of Congress, where they voted 422-0 to pass this legislation, and then went to the Senate, and it was voted on by affirmation, 67-0, and then President Obama signed it into law November 23rd, 2011.
Wow, nice.
It's a great story.
Yes, it's an awesome story.
It is. And then on June 27th, 2012, the living Montford Pointers, the ones that we could identify, went to D.C. to the U.S. Capitol, and they were awarded the Congressional Gold Medal.
Nice. Very nice.
Special thanks to Jimmy Michael Truitt and the National Montford Point Marine Association. This episode was recorded on location at the 4 Points by Sheridan, San Diego, California, on February 28, 2013.